Many people are really interested in philosophy but dread the difficult jargon and concepts of philosophy. But it doesn't have to be like that. The general public has a right to philosophical knowledge as much as the academia. So I have come up with the three books that every beginner of philosophy must start with. There are so many books for beginners out there, so why these three? First, these books are neither too easy to betray the concepts of philosophy nor too hard to be incomprehensible for beginners. These books are enough difficult to make you think and enough easy for you to understand as well. Other beginner guides are either not for beginners or too easy as to betray the subject they are trying to tackle. They oversimplify everything so much that they leave out the essence of the philosophy. I must confess here that these books, as every philosophy book is supposed to be, would at places puzzle and confuse you to make you really think hard. This is the goal of every philosophy, to confuse you, because philosophy starts with curiosity and confusion, but these books would do that without making it too hard for you to understand them. There is another reason why I have chosen these three books particularly. I would share that with you at the end of this video. Before that, let's see what is inside each of these books. The sequence in which I am going to review these books is according to the degree of easiness, so you might want to read them in this sequence. Alright, the first book in front of me is Little History of Philosophy by Nigel Verboten. There is a series of books with this title, Little History, and I definitely recommend this series. It has books on religion, archaeology, and other subjects. This Little History of Philosophy is perhaps the easiest someone can make philosophy. Making it more easier would be to throw away the essence. The book is quite small. The edition that I have in front of me is 200 pages long. There are 40 short chapters. Each chapter is on a particular philosopher. Chapters are arranged in chronological sequence. The book starts with Socrates, who is by most people dubbed as the father of philosophical tradition of West, though Thales is also usually called the father of philosophy. But it was really Socrates who started the true philosophization. The book ends with a chapter on modern Australian philosopher Peter Singer. From the first to the last chapter, you will be meeting many philosophers like Pyrrho, Kant, Hobbes, Marx, Hegel, and many others. So there are three reasons to add this book in the list here. The shortness of this book, the easy manner in which ideas are presented, and the chronological and biographical history of philosophy. So I would recommend you to start with this book. And then the second book you could go after completing this book is very beautiful and easy, How Philosophy Works by DK Publishers. The book is not written by any one author, but there is one consultant who has supervised the writing. The book is also one of a series of books that DK Publishers have published. The series contains many books on many different subjects. The special thing about this book is that it is very visual. It contains icons and logograms to convey the ideas that every chapter is trying to explain in writing. The visuals are really helpful and enhance the understanding of philosophical ideas. So that is the one reason to add this book in the list. Another reason is that this book is also a very short one. It is barely 250 pages long. So for beginner, it should be an easy read. The third reason is that it is not a history of philosophy as the first one was, nor would you find any biographical information about philosophers. It is all about ideas and concepts. There are 7 chapters in this book. The first one is about 2 branches of philosophy, metaphysics and epistemology. It traces the development of ideas in these 2 branches of philosophy from Thales to Nietzsche. For those who don't know, Metaphysics is the branch of philosophy which studies the questions of nature, of existence, and reality. Is there any God? What happens after death? These sort of questions are dealt with in metaphysics. Whereas epistemology deals with the problems of knowledge. How do we know anything? What are ways to the knowledge? Can we trust our senses? Should we experiment to resolve any problem or try to figure it out in our minds? These are the basic questions in epistemology, the study of knowledge. So the first chapter deals with this. The second and third are a bit peculiar. They are not about any branch of philosophy. They are about two major philosophical schools of thought of late 19th century and early 20th century. The second chapter is about analytic philosophy and the third is about continental philosophy. A word about these two schools of thoughts. In the late 19th century, philosophers mainly based in England started a new school of thought called analytic school. It mainly studied the connection between the language and metaphysics and claimed that all metaphysical problems are simply linguistic confusion. All the metaphysical statements, such as there is a God or there is no God, are simply meaningless because there is no way to testify these statements. The main proponent of this school was Bertrand Russell, and then later influenced by his work. Many philosophers in Vienna developed this study. The major names among them are Ludwig Wittgenstein, A.J. Ayer, and Karl Popper. Parallel with this school of thought was continental philosophy. They were mainly based in continental part of Europe, because of which this name stuck. Their main concern was life. They would simply question the existence itself. For them, the important question was, what is the meaning of life or existence? What does it mean to be human? What does it mean to exist? All the existentialist philosophers of 20th century belong to this school of thought. Alright, the fourth chapter of this book is about philosophy of mind. The chapter delineates all the major philosophical contributions to the question of mind and consciousness. The fifth chapter is about ethics and it deals with the moral questions. The sixth chapter is about political philosophy. It would give you thorough introduction to the philosophical concepts about state, government, democracy, monarchy, etc. The last chapter is about logic. It introduces us to the methods of philosophers and to the concepts of induction, deduction, syllogism, and logical fallacies. The book overall is very short and simple, and it has pictograms, logograms, and icons that visually explain the concepts. Third book's name is The Little Book of Philosophy by French philosopher Henri Comte Sponville. This book is entirely different from the two others. It is the shortest of the three. It has 12 very short chapters on different philosophical topics. It doesn't tell you what the 2000-year-old philosopher said. It just gets right to the work and tries to problematize different topics philosophically. The first chapter is about ethics, then the other chapters are on politics, love, death, knowledge, freedom, God, atheism, art, time, humanity, and wisdom. You might think, how can a really short book of barely 100 pages deal with such a very wide issues? But I must tell you that the writing of this author is very precise and succulent. There's a lot in only one sentence. He condenses everything to its shortest length without ever forsaking its true content. This book will definitely introduce you to the philosophy like no other book and make you fall in love with wisdom. Alright folks, so these were my 3 recommendations for really beginners who want to start studying philosophy. Do read them if you want to start philosophy from the very scratch, and do not forget to subscribe my channel for more such content.